Well, I guess that's two in a row for me. Although in cases like this past Sunday, I would rather be wrong. And obviously there's quite a bit to talk about, I would say, so I'll stop wasting your time with my prediction record and what have you, and my curse, or lack thereof. The Bills lost ugly to Cincinnati, 34-21, and right off the bat, I'm just going to start because some fans are being entirely irrational, saying that the Bills need to either fire Dennis Thurman or even as high as fire Rex Ryan, and it's absurd from top to bottom. It's absurd the way some fans are reacting. Not all fans. I know that doesn't encompass all fans. So, if that's not you, I'm sorry, but I need to address this situation. Those fans that want, are calling for Rex's head or whatever, just step back. We're 6 games into his first season. He hasn't even reached the bye week yet. He's won 3 of those 6 games. Two of those 3 games that they've lost were to undefeated teams. Now, I'm really not going to sit here and make excuses. Although the team has been obviously riddled with injuries. He lost his running back, Rex I'm talking about. Lost his wide receiver, Sammy Watkins, for a couple of games. Maybe more now. Lost his quarterback, losing his right tackle. He lost his backup running back, who had scored in every game. All these guys have been in and out of the lineup, and from an offensive standpoint, the continuity is non-existent, really. And that is obviously detrimental to the whole process. But like I said, I'm not making excuses here. I'm settle down. Just settle down. I'm not excusing allowing 34 points at home. That's unacceptable to me. And the defense has been the biggest criticism thus far. You've seen Mario, or if you've heard about it, Mario, Marcel, and Jerry Hughes have been outspoken about pass rushing and dropping into coverage and just let us go get the ball. And I'm with that. They have every reason to be upset about that. They're paid very well to rush the passer, and the Bills only have 9 sacks through 6 games, and it is very disappointing, to say the least. They're 30th in sacks per pass attempt, and that's one of the more concerning stats to me. But for somebody to say that, this is, bring Jim Schwartz back, and, step off. I can't believe we're resorting to this already, because we're 3-3, and 7th in the AFC. 7th in the playoffs? No, I get that. But we're 7th in the AFC, and one game? Yeah, we should fire Rex. You're right. We should fire everybody before the bye. That's not a completely, backwards move. Just stop it with that stuff. Settle down. I know that after the game you're fired up and adrenaline and you're riled up and you want to get, all these things off your chest, but be rational about it. First consider the fact, like I said, they're 7th. How good does the AFC look? You have, obviously, the Patriots, Colts, Broncos, and Bengals leading the divisions. Bengals and Patriots, the only 2 teams that have really embarrassed you. I know they didn't look good. I know the Bills didn't look good against the Giants. I know that. But I wouldn't say they were embarrassed. Eli Manning threw 3 touchdowns, I know, but 212 yards? What? They were not embarrassed from a defensive standpoint, I don't think. There's the 2 teams that embarrassed you, Cincinnati and New England, who are a combined 11-0. And then you have the Jets at 4-1, the Steelers at 4-2, then the Bills. They're 3-3. And then, how many good teams are there behind you? San Diego's 2-4. They have a really good quarterback. They could jump back into it. Are the Jets oh my God, Ryan Fitzpatrick's winning games in October. Stop the presses. Never heard that before. Fitzpatrick winning in October. We'll see what that means for November and December. Also, consider the fact that let's go back to the Bengals game. Let's get this in. It's all about the narrative and however you're writing it, and that is that the Bills were, with the exception of the first drive, pretty much blown off the field because they went up 7-0. just like they did against New England. And then they were stopped from there on, pretty much blown off the field. Like, that's just the way it looked. Because it ended up being 34-14. I know that the Bills scored a touchdown later in the game, but it was 34-14 at one point. And the Bills were up 7-0. So there was a 34-7 run there for Cincinnati. Awful. Awful. And I'll get into couple things I thought about that. But if you're writing the story, this is what happened. Bills, led by backup quarterback, lose to undefeated Bengals. Of course they did. They had their backup quarterback in there. Like, what do you... Like, doesn't that make the outcome seem much more plausible? Like, much more expected? The Bills, led by their backup quarterback, lost to the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals. Makes sense to me. The Bills still outgained the Bengals. 368 to 355. The Bills had one more first down than they did. The time of possession was even. The difference in the game was, at least in the first half, was field position and subsequently red zone defense. Cincy's average drive start in the first half was the Bills 47. Special teams were terrible. Even after the 7-0 touchdown, Pac-Man Jones returned the kick 49 yards. A couple special teams penalties. Ron Brooks getting called for taunting on a punt, on punt coverage, which is stupid. But I mean, even so, even though you're giving them field position, and that's why the yardage was so skewed, obviously. Well, not skewed, but maybe that's why the Bengals didn't have over 400 or 500, maybe. The defense's job is to prevent Cincinnati from scoring, and even if you're given a short field, at least hold them to field goals. And then, I mean, the Bengals were 4 for 4 in the red zone, 4 touchdowns. They covered A.J. Green. They did decent against Eifert. He had the 1 touchdown. You might have seen me on TV there. If you watch the highlight, you can see me throwing up my hands on the sideline because it was the most obvious fade ever. I literally yelled to Bakari Rambo. They split that out on my own. Bakari, it's coming. It's coming. I yelled it probably 2 or 3 times. Throws their touchdown. That's why I was filming that. I mean, it was an easy game to get mad while you're watching. But, I mean, the Bills had no pass rush. They got killed by Marvin Jones. 9 for 95. Marvin Jones, whatever. That's stupid. And just like I said before, the New England game, it felt very similar. There was no comeback this time. No Tyrod Taylor-led comeback. McCoy was back. He played pretty well, 17 carries, 90 yards. Got in the end zone. Sammy was back. Got some targets. And, when they threw the ball his way, here you go. The guy can catch the ball. He got hurt catching a touchdown, adjusting to a poor throw from Manuel. And you know what? I'm not in the mood to critique E.J. Manuel. Not because I thought he played poorly. If you would probably sign up going into the game for E.J. Manuel having more touchdowns than turnovers, 1 rushing, 1 passing. You probably sign up for that and hope you just win the game. But I'm not interested in critiquing him because he's the backup. And I don't think he did anything to become the starter, nor will he. I'm just not interested in doing it. He's the backup. Anyway, this week is a new week. It's a perfect chance to get it all corrected. The Bills are in London. They are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 1-5. They've lost 4 straight. They only beat Miami, and that was before Joe Philbin was fired. Jacksonville is 30th in points per game, 18.8. 16th in total yards, or 12th passing the football, and 24th rushing it. They're 22nd in third down offense, 35%, not very good. 24th in yards per play at 5.3. Turnover ratio is -6. This sounds like a 1-5 team, right? They're 19th in total defense, very average. Dead last in third down defense. They are allowing teams to convert 50% of third downs. 50! And it's not like they're allowing only a couple third downs because they're bad and people are just running down the field and scoring on first and second down. They have the 4th most third downs against. It's 86 or something. And they're allowing people to convert 50% of the time. 50! Granted, the Bills are not very good on third down offense, 24th. Hasn't been pretty lately. I do like Blake Bortles for the Jaguars, even though he's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to play. And he's been pretty good lately. He's thrown for at least 298 yards in 3 straight games. He has 7 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks, which is the most in the league. But he's also thrown 4 interceptions, and they've also lost both of those games. He has developed 2 nice targets in the passing game to throw to, Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns. Julius Thomas is now back. He scored last week. He practiced fully on Wednesday, so he will be in the lineup, I would presume. But Hurns and Robinson, they look like a pretty decent receiving tandem. They're both right around 500 yards receiving. I know Hurns didn't practice Wednesday either, but I don't think he's in danger of missing the game. Robinson hurt his leg last Sunday against Houston, but he practiced limited on Wednesday, and I don't think he's in danger of missing the game. The running game has been inconsistent for Jacksonville. T.J. Yeldon did not play last week with a groin, I believe it's a groin injury. And he did not practice on Wednesday, so that is going to leave his status up in the air. The Jaguars took a different approach than the Bills. So the Bills left for London right after their game against the Bengals. The Jaguars have done that in the past and lost both their games. I think they did that. So this week, I don't know what day they're flying out there. I think it might just be Saturday. And, if you're a sleep analyst or something, or, you might have an opinion on that. I don't think ultimately it's going to matter all that much. The Bills are just a better team. Far and away, they're just a better team. I'll talk about that in a second, too. Running the football, Denard Robinson, Toby Gerhardt, Bernard Pierce, who's also injured, might come back. That would be a running back by committee if T.J. Yeldon can't play. The bottom line, like I said, is this is a beatable opponent for the Bills, no matter who plays. Tyrod's questionable, and I don't really know how to read that situation. I saw him practice on Wednesday. It looked okay. I don't know the extent of his injury. And I don't know if the Bills are going to say, hey, we can play this safe and get him an extra week of rest, get him back probably 100%, close to 100% for the Miami game, but you need to win this game. Nobody's taking you seriously if you lose to Jacksonville, ever. And then you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems with the fans, maybe with the front office, if you lose to Jacksonville. They're 1-5. This is a game you have to have. Playoff teams have to have it. Every team has to have it, basically. I'm sorry. No offense to Jacksonville. Right now, you're a beatable team. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback. Honestly, even if EJ plays, they should win. But I would rather Tyrod Taylor play. I know the coaching staff obviously wants to get to 4-3. The fans want to get to 4-3. Everybody wants to get to 4-3. Is Tyrod Taylor your best chance of getting to 4-3? Yes. Do you want to risk the injury? Do you have to be a slave to the idea of the bye week coming up next and getting him 100%? I don't think so. I think if Tyrod Taylor if it's minimal injury risk, there's always injury risk by being out there. If there's minimal injury risk by him putting him out there, put him out there. You're likely not going to have Sammy Watkins. You're not going to have Percy Harvin. Nobody really knows what's going on with him. Apparently it's not injury related, which is weird. Sean Henderson didn't make the trip. Concussion. Carlos Williams, concussion, didn't make the trip. Kyle Williams, significant knee injury. Probably out at least 4 weeks, I would say. This is the nightmare, basically. Some people might look at this game and be like, wow, the Bills are just ripe for the picking. It's a good opponent for Jacksonville because they're beat up, and Jacksonville can beat a pretty good team. But the Bills, I don't buy that. The Bills are more talented. They still have Mario Williams and Jerry Hughes and Nigel Bradham and Preston Brown and Stephon Gilmore. And they're a better team. And they're presented, like I said, with a beatable opponent. This is a perfect game to get things back in order, to beat somebody up, hit the bye week, get healthy, or at least healthier, rush Blake Bortles a lot, get after him, get the sacks back up, get everyone feeling good, run LaShawn McCoy, he looks healthy. And it should be a win that's never in doubt. Do I think it's going to be? No. Because nothing ever goes according to plan. So, I'm still picking the Bills to win this game. I think the Bills are going to beat the Jaguars. I don't think it's going to be that pretty. Let's go with 19-13. Bills over Jaguars. Guys, let me hear what you're thinking. If you're, pessimist, optimist, see what you're thinking about Rex and whatnot. Thanks for coming this far in the video. As always, you guys are some of the most dedicated followers I know. The only ones I know really, but hey, go Bills.